Hello, this is Padge and welcome back to another episode of Padge Plays Indie Edition with the game The Westport Independent. We are running a independent newspaper in a totalitarian government. That's a big word to use this early in the day. And we are basically just trying to turn around the fortunes of the rebels to up the rebels and down with the loyalists, but it's going okay at the moment. We've pulled across the southern and the eastern sides. We're working on the west. The northern sections are lost cause as far as I'm concerned. But as you can see from the people's opinions up top, it's dead center. So it means we're doing our job right. If we can just mull it over a bit towards the rebellion, I think everything will end very well at the end of this episode. But by the by, let's crack on. We've got stuff to be getting on with. Firstly, we've got 2 letters from the government. Oh dear. Dear editor, one of your employees, Julie, has for the last few weeks created content for your paper that can only be described as disloyal. Her frivolous behaviour of jumping from nest to nest has made her lose sight of her roots. Her naive mind must be taught the position she's in. If not, punishment will fall on both of your heads. So we've got to keep an eye on me, Julie. And respected editor, it has recently come to our attention that your paper, the Westport Independent, seems to have problems understanding the guidelines provided by the Loyalist government in advance of the introduction of the Public Culture Bill. We assure you that these guidelines are absolute, and if your paper continues to neglect them, countermeasures will be taken. The Loyalist Party of Westport. Shit. They know. They know. Oh dear. Right, so let's have a quick look at our journalists. How are they doing? Comfort levels, we're doing all right, I suppose. Suspicion-wise, Anne has come down, which is fine. Frank is below halfway, which is good. Phil is okay, and Julie. We need to back off with you. We'll get you to do a couple of little cat. What's the word I'm looking for? Stories. That's the word I'm looking for. You know, something along that lines. Maybe a dog that rescues its owner or something. We'll find something. We'll find something for you. But we shall start off by saying mercury found in fish from the southern docks, or fish from the southern docks could kill you. This morning, a shipment of fish from the docks were found to contain a dosage of mercury exceeding the national guidelines. Viewed as a potential health hazard, the shipment was confiscated. Medical officers, however, confirmed that the dosage is still below lethal amounts. The public is advised to avoid purchasing fish from the southern docks. That is bad. That means that people won't go to the docks and spend money, so we don't want that. Vandalism in the northern suburbs. Oh dear. Or rebel propaganda and vandalism in the northern suburbs. All right. Several broken windows and paint smeared walls were found around the northern suburbs. The paint spelled out phrases such as "down with the government, freedom to the people." A local rebel group is believed to be responsible. The police have already apprehended 7 suspects. Ooh, I don't like that, but we'll see how it goes. New park planned for the southern docks, or government's new park leaves hundreds of people homeless. A new park is planned for the southern docks in preparation for next year's sports festival. The government will make room for the park by demolishing nearby apartment complexes. The apartments currently house 500 people. I like it. We'll keep that. Movie star divorces 8th wife. Jesus. Or movie star ruins another marriage, divorcing his 8th wife. Renowned movie star Howard Finn has once again divorced. The marriage lasted for 2 years, making it one of the star's longest lasting relationships. So far, the divorce proceedings have costed about 3 million. Lever, I don't know, whatever. Then we have new plans to add fluoride to drinking water, or government adds untested substances to drinking water. The Department of Sanitation announced today its intention to add fluoride to the water supply. This is due to research showcasing the substance's ability to decrease chances of cavities. As research on fluoridation still ongoing, this would make Westport one of the few places in the world to adopt it. You know what? I like that. Government adds untested substances. New plans to add fluoride to drink. I'm going to lead with that, and Julie's going to take it. I think. She's definitely going to write that anyway. And then we have crazed gunman murders family of 4. Or vindictive rebel kills family of 4 in their sleep. Tragedy struck yesterday evening as a murder occurred in the northern suburbs. A lone perpetrator broke into one of the homes, shooting the residents with a shotgun. The victims were removal manager Stan Carlson and his wife and daughter. The killer, who was caught soon afterwards, was a former removal employee and suspected rebel. Yeah, you don't really need to lead with that. He's only suspected. I like that. We're gonna run with that. Who's gonna run with it? I think it's fairly neutral. It's fairly neutral. We'll give it to Frank. Or would Phil be happy writing that? Phil will probably be happy writing that. Then we've got improved equipment for Westport Police, or government slashes budget to militarise police. All right, okay. Yesterday, the government announced a new set of policies for Westport's police. If the police for the people are left defenceless, yeah, we don't need that. Including these as the right for officers to request military-grade equipment for riot control. To afford this, several existing social benefit programs will be slashed. Okay, well, that's a-okay. Who we got left? We've got the very much rebellious Frank and the not so loyalist but not rebellious Anne. Frank needs to take it easy, really. Frank needs to take it easy. So he can go with movie star. And that can be run as is. Yeah. And then what are we going to put in here? So improved equipment for Westport Police. Government's new park leaves hundreds of people homeless. Or rebel propaganda and vandalism in the northern suburbs. We'll go over the park. So government's new park leaves hundreds of people homeless. Can we run that? Or is Anne happy to run that? No. What about if we changed to that headline instead, Anne? No? Okay. How's the comfortability? It's all right. What about if we took that off? That way we're not saying how many homeless, but we are letting them know it is homeless. There we go. She's happy with that. Right, let's do this. So we shall run with Julie up front with the water. That keeps everyone happy. We'll then go for movie stars. That puts the celebrity up. Then we'll do... No, scrap that. Pull that off. We'll go with homeless first. And then we'll run celebrity. And then we'll run gunman. That's fairly even, Stevens. That's cool. Right, so we are going to lead with the West. I am really pushing the West at the moment. So let's do 45 to the West. We'll do 25 for the East. 15 for the North and 15 for the South. You know what? We might actually get on all right with the North this time around. That'll do. I met my neighbour in the hall when I left for work today. She talked about how sorry she felt for Harold Finn and his recent divorce, says Frank. I just stood there speechless. Why is it that women keep falling for the first asshole with a slick car and a greasy hairdo? I'm constantly asking myself that, Frank, as well. Julie replies, instead of asking what, why not just ask how the hell he's allowed to treat women like a spoiled child treats his toys? Anne says, well, money and social status usually means that you can get away with things, especially if the victim is nowhere near that level. Frank says, amen to that. I think we got away with it. With the way that talk went, I think we got away with it. But I'm sure we'll find out in a second. So. Oh, we're losing the West. We're losing the West. So suspicion down. We are dead centre with opinion, but popularity is up, which is good, I suppose. We could probably run a little bit harsher stories this time around. Oh dear, maybe. Most respected editor, I'm contacting you as the agent of renowned movie star Harold Finn. I'd just like to point out that there was a small error in your article last week. As a matter of a fact, the relationship Mr. Finn had with his 8th wife was not his longest. For his longest relationship to last only 2 years would be quite embarrassing. Rather, his longest relationship was with his 3rd wife, which lasted an entirety of 28 months. Thank you for your time. Yeah, all right, okay. Denied! No, can't do that. All right, fine. So, let's have a quick look at it, everyone. So, Anne is down a little with suspicion. Frank's up. Phil's right down. And Julie's still quite high. But everyone's comfortable, so we can push people if we have to. Stop it. So. Oh. That's interesting. Revival Industries moves branch headquarters to Westport. Or Revival Industries keeps their business at arm's length, moves branch headquarters to Westport. Don't understand why it's at arm's length, but hey ho. Revival Industries branch company Dyrell Core has announced their intentions to move their headquarters to Westport. Revival claims the move to be the starting point of the industrial giant's plans of localising their business to the city. The company further expects this to create a new upswing of jobs in Westport. That is a good story. We're going to keep that. We're going to keep that. Bomb disrupts rally, or police leads witch hunt after bombing. Tragedy struck yesterday as a bombing occurred during a political rally in the Western Districts. Casualties are still unconfirmed, but several people are injured. In response, the police have brought in several local political groups for questioning. Despite claims of having alibis, all the arrestees remain in custody. Okay. A new bill to make sure cinemas show proper material, or government to censor and ban improper movies. A new bill passed today will ensure cinemas will only show government-approved content. The government will create a new institution responsible for examining movies before public screening. The bill will come into force 1 month after the Public Culture Bill. That's not good. Then we have movie star caught driving drunk, claims he was tired. Or movie star blames extremely reckless driving on a lack of sleep while reeking of alcohol. Renowned movie star Harold Finn was caught driving under the influence yesterday afternoon. The star was spotted by the police as he slowly swayed down the road. When apprehended, the star claimed to have been tired after spending the night with a female acquaintance. Boom chakalaka. Or we have instead factory explosion shakes Eastern District. Oh dear. Or Revival factory blown up by rebel bombs. Oh. Tragedy struck last night as local factory exploded in the Eastern District. Several were left injured and casualties already number in the hundreds. Oh dear. Revival in management claims that this was due to an accident involving chemical compounds. Police believe otherwise with suspicions of rebel involvement. We can't really ignore that. That is a big story. I mean, we could scrap that. And that's pretty neutral. Then we've got riots in the Southern Docks. Or rioters assault police officers in the Southern Docks. Yesterday, a small riot erupted in the Southern Docks. The mob smashed windows and set fire to trash cans. Police tried to intervene but were quickly overpowered by the rioters. The riot ended after backup arrived and 8 people were arrested. We don't need that. We don't need that. Where you gone? Denied! And the last one is, oh dear. Oh dear. There we go. Minor measles outbreak in public school. Or Epidemic in elementary schools caused by poor funding. Rosewood Elementary closed today after a number of students were found sick with measles. Ambulances were quickly dispatched and the outbreak is believed to have been contained. The school claims it to be an isolated incident and not representative of Rosewood's current hygienic state. We're doing the best our budget can manage, the principal stated to the press. Yeah. Yeah, okay, we might run that. So, we need to run industrial and crime stories, I believe. Definitely industrial. So, or is it industrial and celebrity? I can't remember these things. Well, we're not worried about that. Factory explosion, we can do that as a neutral, which we can give to Julie. So we'll run that. Factory explosion shakes Eastern District. And I'm quite happy to run it as is. Stop it. Stop it. Julie can have that one. Then Phil's comfort is alright. I suppose Frank's the next one to worry about. You are very much rebellious, aren't you? Yeah, so we want something semi-neutral with you. I suppose we could put you on to... Well, no, if we put both rebellious people, we're not going to get anyone coming over to the rebellion side. So we need something which is in between. In between. I mean... Police leads witch hunt after bombing. It was a political rally. Several people were injured. That's going to upset people if I lead with that. That's fairly neutral, I think. You know what? I might give that to Anne. No, or maybe not. Or maybe not. Okay. Well, that was the easy one. So, movie star blames extremely reckless driving on lack of sleep while reeking of alcohol. You see, I think the juicy part about this story is the fact that he was with a female acquaintance. So, we won't say he was drunk. He's not very happy with us, is he? It was caught driving under the influence. It doesn't say he was actually arrested. So, yeah, we'll give that to... We'll give that to Frank. Do I want to give it to Frank? No, we'll give it to Phil. We'll give it to Phil. I want sort of like a near-neutral. Could I do poor funding? And just leave it as it is? That's fairly alright. I think Frank will be okay with that. Yeah, he's alright with that. And then we've got Anne, who is mildly loyalist. So, yeah, government's a sense of banning proper movies. New bill to make sure cinemas show proper material. Show government approved content. Is Anne happy to run with that? Sure. Oh, Anne, you're being awkward. Anne, you're being awkward. Okay, what about this then? Removal Industries move branch headquarters to Westport. Zero Corp has announced their intentions to move their headquarters to Westport. Marvel claims to the move to be the starting point of industrial giants' plans of localising their business to the city. I mean, jobs is good, right? But it's probably going to put the government into a good light. What did I scrap? Southern Docks. Yeah, not fussed by that. Let's... Bomb disrupts rally. This is a really awkward one, in all fairness. Let's scrap that and give that Anne. She's just going to have it, I'm afraid. Force you to do that, Anne. Yes, yes. Proceed. So, we are going to lead with factory explosion. Then we'll put movie star in. And then we'll have the bomb. And then we'll have minor measles. So we're leading with crime. Maybe a little bit into celebrity. Celebrity industrial. Celebrity crime. So we've got both of those covered, which is good. I'm going to pour 35 into west, 35 into north. We're going to have 20 into east and 10 into south. I think that is the way forward. Frank says, crap. I didn't sleep for a second last night. A factory close to my apartment was running on full engine all through the night. And replies, I know what you mean. Me and my husband were so close to moving out away from the eastern factories when our son was younger. Having an easily woken infant while constant noise around you is not a great way to get sleep during the night. Phil says, why don't you just move to the western districts? We don't really have that problem there. Frank says, like anyone with a blue collar could afford that. Oh, we're splitting the classes. We're splitting the classes. Week 10. Okay. Are we okay? Are we good? We pushed everyone in the direction we wanted to push everyone, I think. Popularity is alright. I think it's fair to say the eastern factories are ours. I'm not liking this western district. We are battling very hard. Although the northern suburbs are slowly coming back to our way of thinking, which is cool, I guess. Oh, but they did not like that. 6th level up. Trusting is very high. And our paper took a bashing, so that wasn't a good week for us. The government are alright, though. Suspicion is high. Suspicion is very high. This is going to have to be a very neutral week, I feel. So, let's get rid of the easy ones first. So let's run with Carol Miller discusses upcoming movie first. Starlet flees crumbling marriage into the arms of co-star, or Carol Miller discusses upcoming movie. In an interview yesterday, starlet Carol Miller discusses her role in upcoming musical Sunny Days. During the interview, Miller spoke highly about the cast and co-star Harold Finn. Harold's a great actor and a dear friend, Miller stated. It's been a hoot working with him. Miller, however, lamented that it gave her less time to spend with her husband. I thought we ran this. Did we not run this? Okay. Well, we're going to keep this fairly neutral, so that'll do. Who is the most suspected? So that's midway to the P. It's still Julie. Still Julie. So we'll rein her in on that. I mean, do I sensationalize it? No. Let's play it. Let's play it even. That's fine. So that's her dealt with. Right. So we'll go through them now. Westport contractors accused of botched construction work, or dangerous housing and botched construction crowds Westport contractors track record. Construction company Westport Contractors has lately faced accusations of botched construction work throughout Westport. These charges mostly involve private residences, but additionally some public structures have been affected. When approached for an interview, the company declined. I don't think that has got anything to do with the government. And it affects everyone. So suspicion-wise, we'll give it to Phil. I think. That's alright. Then we've got rebels influence Westport papers, or police scare populace with conspiracy theories. Today, police started an investigation into rebel influences within Westport's media. This is due to a large number of suspected rebel letters being found at the now vacated Northern Herald. Signed friendly rebel neighbour, several of the letters contain references to various acts of terror. This is why the public culture bill is needed, the president stated to the press. Alright, we could probably get away with that. Then we have police arrests union chairman, or union leader accuses protesters of violence while blaming police. Union chairman Ernest Lynch was arrested today for suspected rebel lies. Organising many of the Westport's recent protests, Lynch has become a hero of the working class. These protests have been accused of disturbing the peace and promoting violence. Lynch claims that the violence in question was self-defence against attacking police officers. Probably not the best one to run. I'm going to scrap that for the time being. And then we have construction company accused of hiring illegal immigrants, or Westport Contractors, a safe haven for foreign criminals. Construction company Westport Contractors faces accusations of hiring illegal immigrants. The accusations were levelled by various clients of the company who complained about sloppy workmanship and language issues. As a result, the company is to be audited by government officials to examine these claims. I like that. I like that. We're going to give that to the little loyalist person, I think. Or am I? I mean, it'll bring Anne's trust or suspicion level down, I'd have thought. I like that more. We'll give that to... We'll give it to Frank. Frank's alright with that. Oh, hang on a sec. What have I scrapped then? Yeah, we're getting rid of that, and we're going to get rid of Union Leader. So it's going to be one of these two. Exhibition cancelled. Or government cancels art exhibition. Oh dear. The upcoming exhibition, The Animal of Man, by various local artists, was today cancelled. Government censors condemned the exhibition as obscene and vulgar. The most prominent part of the exhibition was a series of paintings showcasing political figures as farm animals. The artists have since been taken into custody, suspected of treason. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Anne? She's loyalist. Or we've got police car set on fire in Southern Docks. Or pyromaniac strikes police car in the Southern Docks. A police car was set on fire in the old residential area of the Southern Docks. The fire was quickly put out by the officers who had temporarily left the car. The officers received no injuries. The police have made no arrests but suspect a local rebel group to be involved. We could probably get away with that. If we scrap that, I'm sure Anne will be okay with that. Yes, excellent. I think we're okay this week. This week seems okay. So let's lead with botched stuff for industrial. Then we'll do celebrity. Then we'll do immigrants. Then we'll do police car stuff. Yeah, I like it. So, we'll lead with industrial and celebrity. You can have 40% this time around. Then we've got the Western. You can have 30%. You can have 35%. Then we shall lead with 15 for Eastern and the rest for Southern. Nice. Anne says, my son is having his first day at school today. Don't they grow up fast? Phil replies, I wouldn't know. I'm too busy taking care of my brother to even think about having a child. Julian turns, well, Frank is close enough to a child. Frank says, hey, don't bully me just because I'm not an old raisin like yourselves. Phil says, you're just a couple of years younger than the rest of us, you know. Julie says, physically at least. Frank, hey! Ho, ho, ho. Ho, ho, ho. How they laughed. How they laughed. I think we got away with that one. 1 week left. Oh, dear. So, we are all right. I think I'm worried about the Western District. I'm going to have to put in quite a bit of propaganda this time around to get them over. Northern suburbs, they're not entirely loyalist, but it's a lost cause. But our popularity is up everywhere, which is great. So they're a little bit more suspicious of us. Rebellious political opinion has gone up, which is fantastic. And our popularity has gone up, so cool. And no paper, not paper. What's the word I'm looking for? No letters. That's the word I'm looking for. How are my journal I doing? That's journal I? That's for multiple journalists, isn't it? They're all right. Suspicion's still high on a couple. Not losing it on Julie. I guess the only way to actually lose suspicion is to write for the government, which, well, let's face it, Julie, well, she could do if she wanted to. Right, so. Oh, that's a good one. That's celebrity and sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? You know what I'm looking for. Movie star arrested for participating in protest. Or movie star joins violent rebel riot. Yesterday, renowned movie star Harold Finn was arrested during a protest in the Western Districts. In addition to the movie star, 58 other protesters were arrested during the incident. The actor claims that he was not actually participating in the protest, but merely passing through the crowd when a police officer grabbed him. We don't need to tell them about who else has been arrested. We're going to run with that. And we'll give it to the Little Rebellion. That's good. All right, so we'll go through all the rest now. So Revival Industries suffers further financial losses, or Revival Industries keeps on falling fast, according to report. Revival Industries have held quite a bad year, states a recent report. It is claimed the company has lost roughly 38 million, wow, this year, making it Revival's third fiscal year in a row with negative earnings. The company claims that this will not affect their latest venture of localizing their business to Westport. Well, that's good to note. Yeah, industrial. It's alright, we'll keep it. Customs fight back against contraband, or government stops imported movies. A huge number of imported movies were seized by customs officials last night. The movies in question were all foreign productions that have never made it to the Westport's movie market. Many of the movies are labelled as subversive propaganda by the government. Smuggling is smuggling. These items are illegal for a reason, said a representative regarding the event. I'm liking that. I'd probably keep it with that crossed off, but we'll leave it for the time being. Greatly improved medical care in state hospitals thanks to new regulations, or government-funded study claims that medical care has greatly improved. A new study claims that the state of local hospitals has improved over the last few months. It states that medical services have improved since the hospital administration fee doubled earlier this spring. The Government Medical Association conducted the study. Propaganda! No. Fast food chain plans to make way into Westport, or fast food giant enters into Westport with a bang. Massive fast food chain Jolie's has finally made its way into Westport. With restaurants all over the world, the food giant has quickly risen to be the world's largest international food chain. Located in the Western Districts, the chain's first restaurant in Westport will open its doors to the public next weekend. It's a safe one, that. What else we got? Fire in apartment complex, or people left homeless after fire. A fire erupted last night in an apartment complex between the Southern Docks and the Western Districts. During the 2 hours it took to extinguish the blaze, 42 apartments were damaged to the point of being uninhabitable. The survivors have had to move in with friends and family as the city is yet to provide aid. I like that as is. It's fairly soft. We'll give it to Anne. We'll put that last. And then fewer beggars than ever claim new statistics. Or policemen improve public appearance by assaulting beggars. My life. New statistics shows that the number of street beggars is lower than ever. These numbers correlate with the police being granted free rein over matters regarding public appearance. Witnesses have reported seeing officers harassing beggars until they either fled or were arrested. Fewer beggars than ever claim new statistics. And then if we scrap that off, that is fairly damning, but lightly so. And we'll give that to Phil. I'm going to force him to write it. And then we need something light. So we'll do this. So food giant enters Westport with a bang, or fast food chain plans to make way into Westport. That's all right. That's all right. Listen to the food large international chain. Okay, in Western. That is fine. And Frank can have that. Cool. So we'll put movie star on the front. We'll then lead with fast food chain, just to make people a little bit happier. No, we won't. We'll do fire in apartment complex, then fast food chain, then beggars. Cool. Right, so Western and celebrity, we want to win these guys over. So you can have 45% this time around. Then we'll run with, they're fine. We'll run 20 with the Northern, 20 with the Eastern, and 15 with the Southern. You know what? Have 50 West. I'm going to win you over this week around. Frank, you know I'm very uncomfortable with having our newspaper glorifying police violence. Phil, you mean their removal of street scammers? I see no problem here. Frank, street scammers? They're homeless beggars. They're less harmful than you look. Than your local drunk. Then you look drunk. No, your local drunk. Phil, don't be so naive. These people are only trying to pull the heartstrings of sentimental fools like you. Oh, I don't feel good off that until the Public Culture Bill comes into force. Oh dear, here we go. Well, we won over the Western Districts into rebellion, which is good. Everyone else is A-OK. So suspicion is up, rebellion is up, popularity is up. And this is it would appear. 16th of May, 1949. The day of the Public Culture Bill. All right, give it to me. In the northern suburbs, the Loyalist Party is hosting a small outdoor celebration for the introduction of the Public Culture Bill. A big banner with the words "For Propriety in Media" hangs over a small stage set up for the event. So far, the celebration has consisted of a small speech from the president, following by a local children's choir singing the national anthem. Outside, the celebration's Loyalist banners and flags fly high throughout the entire district. It's a symbol of a unified people, with not a single disloyal citizen to be seen throughout the district. Alright, so that's the northern suburbs. They're happy. By the western districts, a minor protest has started. While unexpected when considering the support the district used to give the Loyalists, the small amount of participation proves that some things aren't easily changed. Apart from this anomaly, things go on as usual. With reports of police on their way to take care of the protesters, it would seem that the flame of rebellion will be extinguished soon enough. So, Western isn't good. At the eastern factories, a major strike has started. Most of the industries have been forced to close down for the day, and a few have been vandalized to a degree that will likely keep them closed for weeks. Hundreds of people, most of them workers, have taken to the streets, carrying banners painted with coal and tar. Reports tell us that the police are on their way to calm the situation down. However, judging by the size of the protesting crowd and taking the workers' opinions for the state into account, it's hard to believe that the intervention by the authorities will end peacefully. So that's good. For us, I think. Over by the southern docks, the rebellion has struck hard. Shouts of workers rise, bring the Loyalist demise, echo through the streets. The sidewalks are filled with torn up government propaganda, shattered glass, and the occasional policeman either dead or beaten within an inch of his life. Oh dear. One of their lifeless bodies hangs from the top of a lamppost with the sign "Censor This" dangling from his neck. The streets themselves are packed with protesters and rioters armed with pipes, bats, and broken bottles. At the front, a couple of protesters have tied a sheet with a raised fist painted in red between two broken broomsticks. As they march on down the streets, the spirit of rebellion continues to spread throughout the district. Right, so what does it all mean, all in all? While the city is as busy as ever, a small newspaper called the Westport Independent soldiers on. Oh yeah, the paper has had its fair share of ups and downs lately, but no matter what hardships it faces, it just keeps on standing. Boom! So that means we're good. We're not closed yet. Of the many rumours circulating about the paper's missing employees, there are a few that keep recurring. Oh dear. One of them concerns a young man leading the riot at a local police station. Witnesses claim they arrived early in the morning, rallying on the other side of the steel fence, all armed with placards and pipes. It was clear that a civil protest wasn't their intention even before the officers tried to intervene. Nobody knows who threw the first Molotov, but everybody was witness to the chaos that unfolded. A few hours later, it had died down, with many of the participants having fled or laying wounded or dead. The only thing remaining is the burning rubble and one line of graffiti lit up by the flames. That's not good. Witnesses have reported seeing a mysterious woman carrying a Westport Independent press badge at different spots across the city. She had been seen in the middle of the action, dodging blows while taking pictures with a camera. Some also claim that she was also writing things down in a notepad while asking questions and aiding the wounded. Authorities have so far failed to apprehend her, but whether or not she is affiliated with any side in the conflict remains unclear. I asked the broad question, "Why in the hell are you doing this?" a witness stated. She just looked at me, dumbfounded by my question, and said, "Well, in case the world doesn't end tonight, somebody's gotta write this down." What a girl. What a girl. I brought her up, alright. Police are still searching for one of the paper's journalists, Phil, who has been reported missing from his home. According to statements from neighbours, he arrived earlier at the apartments he shares with his brother, seemingly frantic. Neighbours were growing suspicious after they heard a set of heavy thuds and sounds from the apartment and went to investigate, suspecting looters. Witnesses claim that when they arrived, the apartment was trashed, furniture smashed to pieces, shattered glass everywhere, and clothes scattered across the floor. The signs of a struggle were evident, but neither the journalist nor his brother were anywhere to be found. If anyone has any information about their current whereabouts, please contact Westport Police. Oh dear, that's not good. That's not good at all. What about the last one? In the east, witnesses have reported seeing a middle-aged woman matching the description of one of the paper's employees. She, together with several other civilians, have set up blockades adjacent to the fighting by stacking broken doors and furniture. Behind the blockade, they are offering shelter to people seeking refuge from the violence shaking the streets. Although police have denounced these actions as rebel activity, the people behind the barricades seem to offer little in way of conflict. Instead, they seem to focus on keeping it out. Whether the woman is one of the paper's employees or not has yet to be confirmed, as she has refused to answer questions from anyone wearing a press badge. I think us journalists have ruined things enough, Owen's claim, she stated when prompted. Oh, so middling for the press in general. I like to think we got away with it, but one thing he doesn't say is whether there's going to be a big overthrowing of the government. But I guess it's for you to interpret as you will, which is pretty much the story of the game all the way through, really. It's how you interpret the stories. It's who you get to write the stories on, whether they are going to be interpreted as a loyalist backing story or as a rebel backing story. But ultimately, it was a fairly interesting playthrough. I did notice in this third part that there are stories which were starting to repeat. Whether that's because I didn't put them into the story or I didn't just disregard them completely in that one file, I have no idea. But at least that made it open to you being able to relist those stories if you wanted to be a little bit edgy or a little less edgy one week over the other. But ultimately, I think we got away with it. I'm not arrested, which is the most important thing, I like to think. We've lost the guy with his disabled brother, but he was a bit of a spineless person anyway. The rest seem to be okay. Rebellion seems to be, well, breaking out in at least half the city. So Finn, I think, is the best way to sort of round that up. Finn. There we go. So that is the Westport Independent for you. It's an interesting game. It's, as I said, very open to suggestion. As it stands, it's probably got maybe one more playthrough for anyone who goes out to buy the game. I don't think you get more than, say, 2 or 3 playthroughs of this. It might be one to hold off from until you see it in a sale. I think I picked it up at a good price. I think it was a 40 or 50% off, so that was well worth its money. But saying that, it is a fairly cheap game anyway. It's just whether you think this is your dig or not. I don't think it's got the replayability of something like Papers, Please, but there we go. It's open to suggestion. We'll leave it at that. So thank you for watching. As always, a like is appreciated, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take it easy.